the Digital Director of the British Council, which is a cultural relations body based in the UK, but which works internationally to bring trust and opportunity for Britain. And we're currently 3 years into a 4-year digital programme, and the aim of that is to upgrade significantly the British Council's entire digital presence.
Indigo Blue is a management consultancy specialising in helping organisations adopt an agile approach and getting more benefit and value out of using agile. The British Council is using agile on their programme, and we've been helping them for some months now to improve the processes.
We're here to give a keynote presentation around agile operating models. For us at the British Council, that's particularly important because we're going through a transition at the moment from a period of building foundations to a period whereby we consolidate and build on those foundations to set the future direction of the British Council, and operating as an agile programme within a large organisation which isn't operating necessarily using agile methodology. It's very important to us to understand how best to report into that organisation, how best to work with the stakeholders in that organisation, and how best to manage our resources against the priorities of the organisation. So we were here to talk about how we're working together.
So the keynote is called Splitting the Atom, where ATOM stands for Agile Target Operating Model. So it's part case study, and it's part theory around how Agile affects and influences the kinds of operating models that you can use. So Harriet is doing the specifics on British Council, and my role is to kind of talk more widely about lessons learned and the theory.
I was essentially describing the British Council and its work, and then describing the fact that for us, the advent of digital channels is a great thing for the British Council, considering its goals, which are to promote dialogue, to foster understanding, to offer learning opportunities. So for the British Council, digital channels are a wonderful thing. But on the other hand, it's as a large, globally spread organisation with a long history, it hasn't been an easy ride for it to achieve success digitally. So I was describing the programme that we're currently 3 years into, and our rollout of a new content management system, of tools to enable the organisation to share and manage its data, a training programme, generic content, and all the things that for us make up a foundation for the organisation to take any direction digitally that it wants to. And James, you were talking about?
So what was interesting about the British Council from our point of view is it's an example of a wider pattern that we're seeing, where people have kind of got good at running agile projects and programs. And the problem that they're suffering from is how those projects and programs fit into the wider context and interrelate with the wider organisation. So there were 3 parts to my part of the keynote. The first was describing 3 levels of interaction. So first of all, there's an engagement piece and how the context needs to change, how the people in the wider organisation need to understand the world differently because projects are agile. That only gets you so far. The second piece is governance, which is a structured layer of interaction between the project and the wider organisation that enables you to make decisions and optimise across the organisation as a whole. And the third then moves into operating model, which is about, rather than just concentrating on single projects, it's how you optimise the flow of work on a continuous basis through the organisation. And then what kind of challenges does that present? How do you organise the people? How do you organise the work and the interrelationship between the two? Different funding models and the impacts that they have on the end result, the quality of work, the kinds of decisions made. And then finally, I went through a more detailed sequence of stepped examples of different structures of team relating multiple stakeholders to multiple teams to multiple products. And a key message around thinking in terms of capacity rather than teams as a significant lesson that would be helpful to other people.
Although the digital programme has been successful in terms of delivering what we set out to, there is a challenge for us perpetually around our approach, which is minimum viable product followed by enhance and iterate. It's difficult for the organisation to engage with that always, because it's an organisation which is used to a much more traditional approach to project management, whereby you identify the scope and you start from the beginning and you work your way through to the end. We feel that the agile approach is necessary because the world is changing fast. We need to be responsive, as opposed to setting out scope which may be redundant in even 2 or 3 years' time, given the pace of change. So we needed some support around making it more visible to the organisation that we are using resource appropriately, that means of communicating better how we deliver and what the benefits of our delivery are, and around governance. And that was why we invited Indigo Blue to bid to work with us around that.
Yeah, that pretty well sums it up. I think the start of our engagement was to do a review of what the issues and constraints and opportunities were. One of the key messages of the keynote was that there is no right, definitive, universally correct operating model. So you have to understand the context that you're working with to get the balance right in terms of various parameters. So we started with a review, and that was completed in July of this year. And we've now been introducing a range of specific techniques around the governance piece to optimize that area. We've piloted that and now just starting the process of rolling that out to more projects. And then the next piece going forward is building up this operating model across the breadth of the organisation. So you can find out more information about Indigo Blue at indigoblue.co.uk.
And to find out more about the British Council, go to the British Council corporate website, or if you're in another part of the world, Google British Council and you should find a brand spanking new British Council website that will tell you about your own part of the world.